other thing, which is quite the key, and this is more from an investment perspective, is while there is a strong sense of buying in a school zone, can you just buy any property in a school zone and it would perform? Could you buy an apartment in a school zone?
That's a really good point. I'd say no, because I mean, just like anything else, you still need to consider. We talked about this in one of our other episodes, right? There are certain considerations that you still have to make about that property. So not every property is going to perform similarly.
100%. I don't disagree. I think it's important that yes, people would want to rent that apartment, and that rental would always, and so you would have almost zero vacancy rates for that rental. But understand that, people are renting there just to enter into the school. They don't want to live there, right? So it's not an owner-occupier product. Understand that people are selecting school zones predominantly because they have 2 or 3 kids and they don't want to pay private tuition, private school fees. So usually if a person has 1 kid, they'd be like, well, why would I pay 400,000 or 300,000 of premium to a property? I can just send my kid to a private school and live, at a price point which is much more comfortable to myself. And so these apartments, while they're in the school zone, they provide great rental yield, they would provide great vacancy, they would usually not provide a lot of growth, because they are not an owner-occupier product, and naturally the owner-occupier is what drives the market up, because they are emotional buyers. So it's it's important. Townhouses maybe yes, and Mickinnon School Zone is a typical example. It's in Melbourne at least, where there is apartments there, and so it's right in the reach of should I say high density area. Not a lot of school zones are in high density area, but Mickinnon School Zone is. And so there are a lot of apartments built right in the Mickinnon School Zone. It caters for both primary and secondary. So it's a premium opportunity, right? But you would see that the apartments haven't done significantly well compared to a townhouse or a house in that same area. And that's predominantly the reason.
And you look at the end of the day with apartments, you've got to look at the supply and demand, right? If you've got the same sort of product and you've got 200 of the same sort of units in one block, then
definitely.
You've got supply issues there. From a rental perspective as well, you're competing with a lot of other properties in that same building or that same facility for the same tenant. So from that aspect, if you had to choose the types of properties, still utilize the same considerations that we've spoken about before. Obviously, the location, size of the land, layout, all those sorts of things to consider whether, you're buying the right type of property in that spot.
Definitely. Would not agree more.